Hi, welcome back to Bernat.com. Today we're going to be learning how to cast off. That's basically to get the work that you've done off of your needles. It's really easy and you're going to get it in a snap. So before we get started, we're going to gather up our supplies. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your yarn and your work on your needles, as well as a pair of scissors. Today I'm going to be using my Bernat Super Value, and I have my work here cast already onto my needles that I'm going to be working to cast off. All right, so now we have our supplies gathered. We're going to start casting off. I have 10 stitches on my needles, but it doesn't matter how many you have on yours because the process is the same no matter how many stitches you have. So let's get started. All right, so now you're ready to cast off your work off of your needles. So you're going to want to hold your work in your left hand, and you want to have your empty right needle in your right hand. And what we want to do is these first two stitches, we want to knit them. Just like we have in the past with a knit stitch, we want to do the same thing. We're going to knit one here. And then I'm going to knit a second one right here. Okay, so now we have two knitted stitches that I've placed here on my right needle. And this is where things get a little bit different. This is how you actually cast off. You're actually going to put your left needle under this right stitch here, if I can get mine under here. And you want to kind of lift it up and over that left stitch. And that left stitch stays on and you slip off that right stitch. So let's see that again. So the next one you're going to do, you're actually going to knit one stitch again. So we're knitting one stitch. And then, again, this is our cast off stitch right here. We're going to lift this right loop and we're going to lift it over top of that left one, and that left one stays on our needle and the right one slips off. And again, going to do a knit stitch, one knit stitch, and then we're going to lift this up and over that left stitch, and it gets dropped off and that left stitch stays on your needle. So again, a knit stitch, and then we're going to do our lift over and drop that off. So now we have one on our needle again, so we need one more knit stitch. We're going to lift that right stitch over top of that left stitch. That left stitch stays on your needle and you drop that right one off. Knits, you knit one. We're going to lift, and you're going to just do this for however many stitches you have on your needles, and you're going to go all the way across. Okay, so we're getting to our last stitch that I have here on my needle, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to knit a stitch. So I have my left needle, which is completely empty now, and I have two on my right. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did all along. I'm going to lift this right stitch and I'm going to place it over that left stitch. And now that needle is empty, that left needle we were using, and my right needle has one stitch left on it. And what I want to do at this point is cut my yarn. So I've just cut a yarn tail off, and I want to just pull that through that loop and tighten it up, and that's it. You're all done. There's your cast off edge. Can you see it there? And you're all done. Congratulations for getting that off your needles. So that's it. You've done it. You've cast off your first project off of your needles. Congratulations. That's such a huge step. I think it's time to do a happy dance, and I wouldn't blame you for 1 second if you did. Now you're probably ready and you're all geared up for your next project. You're going to want to check out our website. We have tons of great ideas and free patterns to get you going. So I hope to see you again at Bernat.com.